Welcome to the National Putting Tour. We're here in Scottsdale. This is the Black Course PopStroke big tournament coming up on November 12th and 13th. Here's a course overview. Hole 1, kind of a tough hole. You got a hill to the left and a hill to the right that you have to negotiate. Here's me throwing it out to the left, trying to get a little bit of that hill and hit it a little bit too hard. And then I was trying to keep it away from the big humps and just keep it on the normal slope, and it would not get over to the right enough. On this one, I think you are going to have to go up that hill on the left. It is a pretty steep hill. So this hole is actually very difficult. Here's me just trying to keep it on that semi-flat ground, and it just won't get there. So we're trying to throw it up that hill now. I hit this one a little bit too soft again. Didn't catch enough of the hill. I think somewhere around that line though is good. Just a little bit more to the left and a little harder. Here's me going way up the hill. And you can see it rolls past the hole and it hits this little knob, or almost hits this little knob behind the hole. There is a knob behind the hole that you can bounce it back door on, but it's very small. And as you can see here, it's not as if the ball just funnels to the hole. You might see some players trying to play it off this back hill, but I highly doubt it. Here's hole number 2. A pretty standard putt. It's a huge right to left putt, so that slope on the right hand side, it's pretty steep. The weird thing about this hole, it's actually a very tough make, because the harder you hit it, the more of a chance it has to hit that knob out there. And then if you don't hit the knob, it ends up short. So there's a tiny line right next to the knob, right there. It would have to be about 1.5 feet farther than that ball. I was never able to make this putt. I'm sure it's makeable, but I was never able to make it. Short every time. And then when I tried to hit it too hard, it just hit into that grass hill. I don't have any examples of that here. This one gets pretty close, but you can see how it just kind of runs out of gas. One might think there might be a line in the sand trap left. I did not see one on that hole. This is now hole 3. One of the more unique holes I've ever seen at PopStroke. You got 2 different tee box choices. And then you got these little hills on each side, these little knobs that you got to negotiate. I spent a lot of time trying to make this front door. It's very difficult to make this front door. I think it's a complete waste of time, but you will see some examples here coming up of me trying to make it front door. It's very tough to make this front door. You got to throw it up way up on the hill, and then the higher you throw it up, the more it goes back to the left. You have to kind of bang it, and then if you bang it too hard, you run yourself in kind of a no man's land area behind the hole. I sort of got into that no man's land area right there. So you can see me attempt after attempt trying to go front door in this hole, and I feel like it's just too difficult. This is a great back door hole. So you can see me right here go back door. And it went in a lot. I made this putt a bunch of times going back door. So that would be my recommendation here. Here's hole number 4. We're getting kind of later in the day here. It's a little tough to see some of these breaks with these shadows, but this complete hole runs right to left. And there's a little kind of valley on the left-hand side that's flat that you can kind of run it up. And then you got this little knob to the back left of the hole. You can see that right there. And then a little sort of knob behind the hole. So to make par, you just play it up the left-hand side and just let it hit that little knob, and something like this, what Jeff Kirk does. And you just hit that little knob and it bounces to the right. We kind of missed it camera-wise there, but you can see Mike Gonzalez play a similar line here. That one was a little bit too hard, but you can see it kind of work back to the hole there. This is another hole we were never able to make. I don't know how to make it on this hole. I'm sure it exists. We tried throwing it off the rough left early and bouncing it over, but the rough is so new that it wasn't coming out good. That probably will eventually be the play, just to go hard left off the rough. But you know, everything there slopes right to left. and it just collects into this little area down there. That's about as good as we could do. You can see me trying to go even more left to see if I can catch a little hill off those sand traps that'll bounce it to the right, and that wasn't there. You can see Gonzalez trying to go way up to the right, and you can see it just swinging hard back left. He ended up giving up on that. This is a line that I thought might work and that it might throw it back to the right, but it just doesn't. It just stays right there, hits that little knob, and bounces back to the right. Something like this is optimal and probably what I'll be playing in the tournament.
Oh, I didn't see that hump right there.
So let's go now to hole 5. Very interesting hole. Long, skinny. You got these knobs over here on the right. Trying to mess with those knobs on the right, in my opinion, is just a complete waste of time. I think they're really meant just to be kind of more of a penalty. You want to stay to that left-hand side, away from those knobs. Here's Mike Gonzalez slamming it back door and going long, but that was pretty much the line. You can see Jeff Kirk kind of starting from the middle of the box, shooting it left first, and it kind of stays in that flat area. You know, that's the putt right there. That's pretty much it. Back door. Here's Gonzalez trying something interesting to go front door. It did work out for him, but probably not the play that everyone's going to be making. This is it right here. You play it up that channel and go back door. You can't see it there, but I was a couple feet away. Here's hole number 6. Found this hole to be a very challenging hole. You kind of go up a hill at first, and then it comes back down the hill. They've put those two little humps there, or that one big hump there on the left. It kind of takes away a lot of the backdoor opportunity. Here's Mike Gonzalez trying to practice some backdoor. Here's hole number 6. Here's Mike Gonzalez kind of going right and going into the sand trap, and then he's going way left to try to shoot it over. Not a bad play there. That'll probably be an option that some players use, just going left at first. We were trying just some options where we don't hit it left at first. Here's Jeff Kirk going up the little bit to the left-hand side, finding that little channel right there. The only thing is that channel right there wasn't feeding back to the hole. Here's hole number 7. Kind of a similar layout to some of the other holes. Downhill at first, and it kind of comes back uphill a little bit. You got this hump behind the hole, so that usually takes away the back door. So here's Mike Gonzalez, hole 7. He's playing it up that little hump on the right. And you can see he went long here, and that's going to be in trouble. Now here's the correct line right here, and you can see this almost go in. You want to catch a little bit of that hump on the right at first, have it kind of shoot back, and then you're probably rolling it up, I would say, halfway up that second little hump on the left. You know, line-wise, I think that was perfect. He just hit it a little too soft. Here's hole number 8. Downhill putt, left to right. 2 humps by the green, one to the left and one behind. There's a small channel for a backdoor play, but then you have about 6 or 7 inches, maybe even 9 inches of rough behind the green that's flat. So I really think the back door is out of play here. I think the front door play is where it's at. Here's Mike Gonzalez playing it way out to the left. You can see it catch that hill and shoot towards the hole. I mean, I really feel like that's the play. Here's him just trying a little bit more of a direct route. You can see it just doesn't get far enough to the right. Here's hole number 9. Very similar to some of the other holes on the course. Because of that area of flat rough behind the hole, I think this is another front door play. And you can see the hills just don't really warrant a back door. You can see Mike Gonzalez kind of playing it off the back door there and getting stuck. So the idea is to catch that hill over on the left-hand side and have it shoot towards the hole. So here's Jeff Kirk playing it in about the middle of that area. You can see that going a little bit long. Here's Nathan Strand trying to cut the corner and getting caught in the sand trap. Here's Nathan again. So he played it a little bit off the hills off the sand trap. It shoots it back to the left and hits that hill and goes back to the right. Here's hole 10. Very similar to some of the other holes on the course. You got these two humps to the right. It seems like you're supposed to kiss it off those humps. I mean, it seems like that's what the course architects are trying to sort of get you to do here, but I could never really get it to roll off right, or it would break hard right there and not even hit much of the hole at all. So I think that's just a regular front door right to left entry. Here's hole number 11. This reminds me a lot of the hole in Sarasota, the boomerang hole, I call it. I found this to be one of the more difficult holes on the course. We were trying everything. You can see Mike Gonzalez trying to go off the hills and maybe find a backdoor entry. We never really found anything other than a conventional play, and this was it. There's two sort of big humps. That actually wasn't it. There's another one that's coming up. Here's Mike Gonzalez trying to swing it around. And you might see some players take that option, but because of these two big humps on the right-hand side, I just really don't think that's it. This is sort of the play here. You get it riding up both humps. He almost made that one, so I like that option the best. Here's hole number 12. Left to right putt. You got this hill that's about maybe 15 feet away from where you're teeing off, maybe 20 feet away. And you got to try to negotiate this hill on the left. It's a left to right putt. So how much of the hill do you use? Obviously that's not enough. Here's Mike Gonzalez trying some backdoor plays here. You know, the backdoor is probably the best option on this hole, but it wasn't coming out great. I think once the rough behind the hole, once that gets worn down a little bit, I think this will be a for sure backdoor hole. Here's hole number 13. Now, in my opinion, this is definitely a front door hole. I did actually make this putt. You don't have to play it up that hill. You can play it somewhere in the neighborhood of where Mike just hit it and just play a true right to left front door breaking putt. The back door on this one, the hill was just bouncing really funny, so we kind of just gave up on it. Eventually backdoor might be the play on this one, but you can see Mike playing just sort of a traditional right to left. Here's Nathan Strand with a very nice putt, just a pinch harder, that goes right in. So I mean, that's the line right there. Same with this putt, you know, just a pinch harder and that goes right in. Hole 14, similar in style to some of the other holes that are out here. However, this one is a left to right putt. A beautiful hole with the rocks there. I really enjoyed playing this hole. So this is just me hitting some one-handed putts here. But you can see as I tried to get the ball to roll left to right, I just couldn't get it going. So I tried the back door and it was just perfect. So I would definitely take more of like a Robert Morris strategy on that hole and go back door. Here's hole 15. You can see this little hump right here in the middle. And that makes things a little bit challenging. You know, I think all the players are going to be going to the left side of that hump. What they do past that, it will be interesting. The back door is definitely an option on this hole. You can see me playing left of that hump and going back door here. It comes out pretty good. Here's me trying to play front door. And this is another situation where no matter what I did, I just could not get it to go far enough to the right. So I like back door on 15. Here's 16. Very similar to 15. The whole black course seems to have kind of the same concept. You know, 3 to 4 foot left to right, 3 to 4 foot right to left. Have to negotiate some humps. You know, backdoor is sometimes an option. You can see here I can just never get the ball to break far enough to the right. I try playing this more out to the left, hoping that it'll throw it back. And you got this little hump here, but it really doesn't angle the ball towards the hole. Here's me trying to go off the hill to try to get it over, and that's, you know, probably an option. You know, I know the Swedes like to do that, and that's probably what they'll do there. Hole 17. Downhill putt. You almost have this like church pew feel as you go down. You got these sand trap knobs that kind of come out. I was calling this in my head the railroad track hole because it kind of looks like railroad tracks when you play it down. And it's just a simple left to right putt here. Hit that one way too soft. Here's me giving it a little bit more, and you can see the break on this. You know, I like that line, maybe a little bit to the left and a little bit harder. Here's me trying to go backdoor. And I think backdoor is a great play here as well. Here's me hitting it quite a bit harder and more to the left. And you can see this backdoor line here is pretty good. So I think most of the players will probably be going backdoor there. Here's hole 18. A little bit longer than the other holes. You got this little hump to the left. Now a lot of times when they put that little hump to the left like that, it takes away the back door, but it doesn't on this one. There is a back door line. So you can see me trying some front door putts here. You know, a little bit too hard. With the right speed, that probably goes in. You might have some players trying to play this in a traditional manner, because the front door is definitely there on this one. So here's me starting to investigate the back door opportunity. I caught a little bit of that hill, and it still came out pretty good. Couldn't believe that went in. So even if you catch a little bit of the right knob up there, it's still a good back door. And then you can see me here just missing the hill, and then it goes right in. And a lot of times in PopStroke, when they have these humps there, if you just miss the hump, that's the correct back door. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. See you November 12th and 13th at the PopStroke Tour Championship.